Welcome to Country Boy Gas Garage.
Go check it out, Country Boy Gas Garage.
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 Check out Country Boy Gas Garage. Country Boy Gas Garage.
Doing this
Country
one.
Boy Gas Garage.
What's up, man? That guy's channel's killing it lately.
Yeah.
Welcome to Country Boy Gas Garage, and my name's Jason, and we've done some pretty amazing things here on the channel. Most memorable being the 1948 Ford F5 church bus that we revived. Now that whole journey was amazing, and you got to go check out the video. It's done well over 1 million views on YouTube, so please go check it out. But what we're working on now is this, a 1959 Chevy El Camino. That's right, this is just a project that I picked up years ago off a marketplace, and we're finally getting it back on the road, or at least attempting. This thing's been fighting us the whole way. Now, so far we've gone through and completely overhauled and rebuilt the chassis on this thing. All new brakes and suspension, all new bushings and bearings and seals. You know, we ran all new brake lines, new master cylinder, all new brake hardware and shoes. You know, new shocks all the way around, repainted everything. And then we moved on to this motor, you know, a random small block Chevy 350 we got. It's still sort of a mystery, but we got it started up and in here. Woo! Now, once we get the cooling system on this, we're gonna have to run it a bit more and really see what we're working with. Let me turn on the light here. But and then we got a 3-speed transmission hooked up, which you can see that since the last video I did install or hooked up the manifolds. Now this exhaust was already in the car when we got it, a dual exhaust with some kind of like cherry bomb style. I think they're kind of blue in color, even though they're mostly rust now, and ram horn manifolds. So those are all hooked up, and I started doing stuff like getting the clutch set up, kind of roughed in. You know, we put a Z-bar in here, and I'm kind of getting that all sorted out. But we're going to get this thing back on the road soon. And, you know, it's we're running out of time, and I'm trying to hurry.
We're going to go to Home Depot. Yeah, buy some wallpaper, stuff like that. Maybe Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know. I don't know if we'll have enough time.
Now, my goal was to get this car back on the road in time for the 4th annual shakedown, which is coming up pretty quick. So I'm still shooting for it, but man, we're running out of time. Now, I can only commit so much time to this. I've got a full homestead and family and everything going on, a day job. I'm having to mow yards, take my daughter to softball practice. We're working on the garden, commuting back and forth to town for my regular job.
This is dad life. I look nice. I got dozens of dollars, and that's right. It goes straight to my daughters and my wife.
I roll hard in the yard with a 60-inch cut. 0-turn radius, my neighbors say, what?
Now, I'm not complaining by any means, but it doesn't give me much time to devote to this. So what I like to do is just jump right in to the next thing we need to take care of, and that was the Driveline. Now, this is a 2-piece Driveline that utilizes 3 U-joints and a carrier bearing, and we're going to replace all of that. So I already started a couple days ago by tearing that Driveline apart and getting those old U-joints out and the carrier bearing off and getting it all cleaned up and ready for paint so we could put those new U-joints in. So before I show you where we're at now, let's get you caught up and show you that video from the other day. All right, well, here we are back again on the floor. Being that I don't have a press, as a matter of fact, my bench vise is actually broken right now too. So this is the only option we got. We're on the floor with the board, socket, hammer, doing it the old-fashioned way. You know, I've already started on this one a little bit. I pulled out the little clips and attempting to hammer this U-joint. You know, we hammer it through, and once we get that cap off, then we hammer it back the other way. This one is kind of fighting me. I'm going to try a few more times, but I think I'm going to have to break out the torch and heat this yoke up a little bit. You know, these U-joints actually don't look that bad. This one and that one look pretty good. That one needs replaced for sure, though. And of course, we got to get this one out to replace this carrier bearing. So we might as well replace that one as well. I'm going to keep trying on this a few more times and show you what I'm doing here, but we're going to have to heat this up. We need a little bit of movement. Not a lot though. Keep that a little bit here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and heat this up a little bit with the torch. Try it. That should make it a little easier. It's starting to deform this cap. Alright.
Hey man, am I driving okay?
I think we're parked, man.
Oh shit.
And I'm gonna have to try heating it up more. They're still not coming. Alright. Well, there we go. We pounded that cap through. And looks like we're going to be able to just pull it out right like that. Sometimes you have to pound it back through the other way. But man. Alright. Well. Now we could finish getting this one out, hopefully, without too much more trouble. But pretty sure it's gonna keep fighting us. There we go. Ooh, that's hot. Pain in the ass, but we got it. Now we could attempt to getting that nut out. That way we can swap out this carry bearing. Of course, I'm gonna have to work on getting the other U joints out as well. So Might as well just keep working on those. Alright, we got all those U-joints out. Now this one is still in this yoke. It's just really hot. I'm either going to have to wait for it to cool down so I could get that out, or I might pound it back through. But once that one's out, we're done there. Now we just have to get this one off so we can get this carrier bearing. So I'm just going to give that a shot here with the torque gun. Is it 3/4? Oh yeah, that came right off. Sweet. Now, okay, that's splined on there. Probably have to tap it off. I don't know if there's a different way of doing this. Looks like it just comes, you know, it's just a splined shaft with this on there, so I just got to get it off. I assumed I could tap it off. It's almost off. Just working at it here. Okay. Now, how do we get this bearing on and off? Alright, now we're just down to this bearing. I'll tap that off, hopefully. I'll be able to get these drive shafts and yokes all cleaned up and painted, and then we'll hammer those new U-joints in here. Damn, that put up a fight. Alright. Well, that put up quite a fight. Made quite the mess. I got the shop floor a bit hot. And hopefully we'll be able to recover. Well, these are super dirty still, and I want to get these cleaned up and painted. So I'm going to take them to the wire wheel, get them all cleaned up. Let's go. Alright, well, we got them all cleaned up for the most part. They weren't too bad, just some surface rust. Now, because I was in a hurry and I keep rushing, I did make a mistake. I meant to do this before I separated everything, and that was to indicate which way these were oriented together, which I failed to do. I know the weights were at the middle where the carrier bearing is, so you know the carrier bearing yoke will mount to this side with the weights, but I just don't know which way. And I know you're supposed to try to return them to the way they were oriented, but we'll have to figure that. Worst case scenario, we have to get this thing balanced at some point, rebalanced. But they're all cleaned up and ready for some paint. So go ahead and grab some black spray paint. Hey, we got more parts. There they are. Alright, I got them all painted up. Now I'll probably end up scratching them all up when I put the U-joints in, but we could always touch it up. But there we go. Alright, so that gets us caught up to right where we're at today. And that's trying to get these U-joints back in the driveline. We got these all painted up last night and they're all dry, ready to go. Now I'll probably come in here and clean up these surfaces as well as I can, so when we go to put those caps and U-joints in, we're not interfered with the debris, because I could feel some gunk in there. Plus when I painted them, it's got some overspray. So we'll clean those surfaces out, and we'll be able to put these new carrier bearing and these new U-joints in, which I'd purchased two and realized I didn't have a third one, so I purchased that later. Looks a little different, but they should all be correct. And of course, without the proper tools, we're going to be doing this on the ground with an anvil and hammer, and we're going to have to tap all these U-joints in the old-fashioned way with a hammer. Now, it's not the preferred way, but you got to do what you got to do. All right. Well, I went ahead and cleaned up all those surfaces in there. I took a little pick and cleaned out the little groove where the clip goes, and then used some fine sandpaper to polish those up. And then we got this makeshift anvil. It's just a heavy, solid piece of steel. I can't remember where I got it, but it's pretty much as solid as you're gonna get. So we'll use that. Start with this one. These blue U-joints are heavy duty. Now doing it this way is, like I said before, not the preferred method, but this is the only option we have. I even broke my bench vise recently, so I don't even have a bench vise to try to press them in. So, and as much as this car has been fighting me, I'm praying these go in easy. Now I'll start by taking all the caps off. Try not to lose any of these needle bearings, which I might apply more grease if they look like they need it to hold them in place. Now we'll take one of them, get this in here, and then insert the cap from the outside. Engaging those needle bearings. And I'll try this method, and then be able to smack on the drive shaft itself, pressing it down over that cap. Hopefully Keep everything centered up and even as possible. We don't want that to go in crooked. Alright, let's see here. I'll start with a few light taps just to see what's happening. It looks like it started going already. I'm just doing light taps because I'm doing it out here on the ear. I could actually see divots from where it's been really smacked on the housing. Which we're not getting much movement. I'm gonna have to hit it on the housing just a little harder. As you can see, we've gone about 1/4 of the way in or so, and it looks like it's still straight. It's just taking a little more force now. We'll keep working at it. I don't want to beat this up too much though. Maybe might have to get a piece of wood. I hate to break this yoke down here. I'm gonna have to get another piece of wood, but we're going. We're 2/3 of the way. We sunk it flush. Ultimately we're gonna have to countersink it just a hair so we get the caps in. But in the meantime, we'll get this other cap on. We want this U-joint to be partially engaged with each cap so the needle bearings stay in place while we're hammering on this. And I guess I could actually tap this cap in a little farther like we're talking about so we get that clip in, which will also help me engage both sets of needle bearings so we don't lose any. I'll do a few taps first to get started. Well, sorry this video's coming off a little boring, and when I'm pressed for time, I have less time to put effort into the video production and just trying to get things done. You know, originally, well, I still am trying to get this car on the road and ready for the 4th annual shakedown. But as it gets more near, I'm starting to whittle off things off the to-do list that are probably not going to happen in time. You know, like, for instance, getting all the trim, all the side beltline trim and everything might be a long shot. I might be lucky if I just get the bed trim and the fins and have to save the beltline trim till after the show's over a bit. Stuff like that. I'm starting to, cosmetic stuff is going to start taking a toll due to lack of time. Hopefully, mechanically, it'll all be done and ready to go. All right. Well, we got it. I mean, started anyway. It wasn't pretty, but we got her. And, well, now we just got to move on to the rest. I got a couple more U-joints to put in and that carrier bearing. So we'll just keep going with it. Alright, got the U-joints and the carrier bearing all in there. Now, I still have to put the last caps on the end, but I'll do that when I'm actually mounting it in the car, so we don't lose the caps and the bearings. But I do want to wipe this all down now and give it another coat of paint to kind of fix up where I beat it up a little bit. And I'll be ready to mount. You know, I was watching Casey over at Casey's Customs, and he's working on that rusty T-Bird that he got from Dalton over at Pole Barn Garage. And he was talking about how rusty it was.
Wow, that's the craziest chunk of Bondo I've ever pulled off. I don't really drink, but I might need a drink after this. This might be a bigger can of worms than I want to deal with.
It's just too much.
It ain't that bad. I mean, compared to what we've got, this is by far rustier than that car. And I'm not even a metal worker, so I'm a little concerned on what we're going to be doing. I know we're going to roll with a patina look, and I've got plans for the finish and all of that, but there's some stuff that we're going to have to address at some point. Let me show you. Casey, you think yours is rusty? Look at this thing. Somebody did a number on this back in the day. 80s, 90s. I don't even know. I mean, I don't think there's any metal left here. This is fiberglass and body filler and nothing. Like, there's not much left there. And you can't get reproduction panels for this. And this whole wheel arch and lip is rough. And then, I mean, look back there. Look at that. You can just see how wavy this is. That's all got to be filler and fiberglass, it looks like. I mean, this thing is pretty rough. We may have to address some of this at some point. And something else I wanted to share with you, in case you didn't remember, when I got this car, it didn't come with any keys. And so I was thinking I'll just change the ignition and the door lock. So I ordered a new key lock kit, ignition and door lock kit. Here it is. Comes with the new ignition, new door locks, new keys. But with the help of a couple people, including, let me give a shout out to 38 Racing. He's got a 59 Chevy that he's got, and he's shared a lot of useful information. And with his advice, he let me know that I wasn't able just to pull that ignition out of the dash. To be able to pull the ignition out of the dash, you have to have a key. You have to have the key to be able to put in the ignition and turn it to the lock position to access the little hole that you put a pin in, and you are able to remove it and put the new one in. And without keys, you're only left with so many options. And one of those options, with the advice of 38 Racing, is what I did. I took out the door lock. And once you remove the door lock, there's a little code on there. So I took that door lock and code down to the oldest locksmith in town. And he was able to look that code up and was able to cut us a key, guys. We got a new key cut from that door lock. Check it out. There we go. New key. And now, with that key, I can now work the ignition. There's a, well, lock or on and start. There we go. Yeah. But now that I've got a working key for ignition in the doors, why would I need to swap them all out? At this point, I started to do that and it was fighting me, and I realized why. I've got a key now. That's all I needed. So I'm going to get another one made so I have two, and we now have keys for the car. Now, unfortunately, it didn't match the glove box lock, but regardless, that doesn't matter. I don't really care. I mean, it still functions. I just can't lock the glove box. So there we go. New keys. A few of you were asking if this car is cursed. Starting to wonder if it's cursed, and I'm starting to wonder the same thing. Maybe this shrunken head was a bad idea.
Pardon me. Did you do that? Very nice work.
Also, a few of you pointed out that the window needed washed. I'm gonna clean it. I just was waiting to pull this whole thing out and give the whole thing a power wash. So for you, Becky and Andre, this is for you. Wash me. There you go, Becky. I was talking about earlier in the video some of the things that I probably won't be able to get to cosmetically in time for the car show, the 4th annual shakedown. That we're trying to get this car all back on the road, running and driving and looking good for the cruise the Friday night and then the show Saturday. But it's coming up fast and there's still a lot to do. So I'm starting to whittle off a few things that I'm probably not going to be able to get to. Like I mentioned, some of the trim maybe. And probably the airbags. As much as I wanted to get that ready for the show, I doubt we're going to have time to do all that. These are things that I may do after the show. We'll have more time to figure out what we want to do at that point. But we just need to get the basics done now. And now that this Driveline's all ready to go in, we're getting that much closer to getting her back on the road and running. Now, I do want to pull the gas tank and the fuel line, which runs down the center tunnel, get that all out of there and check that all out before we install the Driveline. Make sure that doesn't interfere with us. So that's probably what we're going to be on the next video, is getting that gas tank dropped and seeing what we're dealing with. Hopefully between that one and the other rusty one we have, we could get a working one, or we may just put a fuel cell in the back. Then we could start reassembling this whole front end, get that cooling system in, get this thing all buttoned up, get this thing back on the road. Now, I want to give a huge shout out to all the members of the channel. I really appreciate it, guys. And it seems like every month we get a couple more of you. And of course, I couldn't do what I do here without your monthly membership fee. And together, we're getting these old classics back on the road. So if you're not a member of the channel, please consider joining. Thank you. Of course, don't forget to check out the merch site. We still got a few of the old designs left. And of course, we've got the new design that you got to go check out. We got hats and hoodies, t-shirts, stickers. Go look at the merch site, find something you like, and help support the channel. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, hit that notification bell, and I'll see all you in the next video. Peace.